Here we are flying the J-7E, and this is actually, well, it became one of my favorite planes in the game. Even considering that I don't really like top tier, I had a very great time in this thing. I'm not gonna say that it's very easy to fly, that it's the best plane in the game. It definitely has its flaws, but the flight performance overall is pretty damn good. First off, I want to show you these missiles, PL5s, and I've been loving these things. Insane range, they're a little bit less maneuverable than say an AIM-9J or an R60. They're a little bit comparable to the AIM-9D. The gun, the NR30, is a very big relief compared to the GSH-23. I completely despise that thing. This thing is a little bit faster, sure you have less ammo, but the stopping power is quite a bit better. I don't like the fact that it's only on one side however, and it really can throw you off, especially in the very easy shots. The double head-on you just saw is a little bit of a fluke, but I think that kind of stuff deserves a spot in the intro. And the best way to make these missiles effective is of course getting a little bit of extra altitude, because then the maneuverability doesn't really matter as much anymore as the enemy planes become less maneuverable. And the range is definitely a factor. You can start poking people from very far away. That FGR pops all its flares, out of flares, and you're not dodging this thing in an FGR when you don't have flares. The missile seeker is a little bit sensitive, and you can see that the lock circle is very wide, so you can really lead these missiles. They're really made for long range, and that's why I like to just get a little bit of extra altitude. And when I'm at low altitude, what I can do is I lock him up. I will move my lock circle up a little bit, lofting the missile so to speak, leading a little bit to the left, expecting him to turn that way. He does. Missile motor burns out. It's gliding towards him now. He probably doesn't see it, and it's a very awkward angle when it comes from above. And that's just the main way you get kills with these missiles. Very good range, so far away that people don't really realize it, and you can shoot them from very far away from the side aspect. And then the motor burns out, it kind of goes invisible, and people just kind of slide into the missile. The way I fly this thing is by side climbing a little bit to 4 to 5 kilometers, depends on the match, depends on the map, depends what's going on. And I do this because if I find people at this altitude, these missiles are very good early game to just poke someone out of the match. If there's no one there, I can cruise without the afterburner and just conserve a lot of fuel. Teams are pretty bad, you very often have to carry, and that's why I like to have some extra fuel at the end. Looked at F4E and almost in the head-on, from top down, he's not paying attention to me and he blows up. And the main thing about this plane is it's still a MiG-21, same kind of acceleration, but it turns better, has a little bit less AOA, but it doesn't bleed as much energy. And the energy bleed on this thing is the main selling point. You can keep turning forever in this thing and you will beat almost everything in a raid fight. Do make sure, however, keep looking around like an owl on Adderall, because, well, it's very easy to get jumped once you go below 900. That's just how it is. You have a lot of flares, feel free to use them. Lock the F4E and want you to pay attention to the lock circle, waiting for the F5 to pass him, he's a little bit colder, wait for the lock circle to jump back for the F4E, and then it still goes for the F5, and he is actually going to eat that missile. Luckily, I get to gun him right there, but in the meantime, that PL5 with its cracked range eats the F5E as well. And I'm terribly sorry for that team kill. I'm really not sure how that happened. I was waiting for the F4E to pass, so that wouldn't lock onto you. I was waiting for the lock circle to go back for the F4E. Maybe it was a little bit too fast and it just desynced. I am not actually sure, but I don't know what I could have done wrong there or could have done differently there, so that it wouldn't go for you. Maybe I should have waited an extra second or two, but I was scared because I was looking at how bad this team was doing, and I didn't want to lose the game because I didn't kill someone with a missile. Very ironic in the end, because all I did was team kill him and then I gunned him down anyway, so I really just wasted a missile and a teammate. But here we go, F5E and an F4E, both at the same time in the dogfight. And what do you want to do? The F4E has some very good AOA, and you kind of lack it in this thing, because it turns very well. It feels a little bit more like a plane. It's not as much as a slidey boat like say the F1 and the F4E and that kind of stuff, but I'm focusing mainly on dodging the F5 and draining him of his energy. And in the meantime, I just kind of make sure that my loops keep cutting inside of the F4E as well. F4E is definitely second priority. He got very close there, but I don't really have another option. If I focus on the F4E, I get the F5 on my 6, and if he gets on my 6, I am basically dead. So I'm trying to force the turn fight with the F5E, and I'm just kind of turning inside the F4E as a second thought. I have one missile left. He starts missiling me. Not sure what whatever. I'm gonna start turning inside of the F5E here, And the F4E now is very, very slow. And now I can pull up over him, turn inside of the F5E again. Just one more time. The F4E is going to be very low on energy here. He's basically became a non-threat. He's very, very slow. I can start turning inside of him here, cut throttle here and there, because the energy retention can actually kind of hinder you. Because it will make it so that you will pass in front of people because you're going too fast. The F4E is turning back in now. He has nowhere near guns on. Gun him out of the air, and now I'm still behind the F5E. I could have focused on the F4E, but that really wouldn't have done much. Because that F5E over here would have been right on my 6. And the most annoying thing about dogfighting an F5E is your gun is offset. Your gun isn't very easy to lead. And whenever you hit F5Es, you simply don't kill them. These planes really like surviving everything you shoot at them. And that's just how it is. And talking about target prioritization, I made a video on that very recently. I know it's almost an hour long. But if you think that is something you struggle with, I think there's a lot of things in there that might help you out. Dive back out, dive away from the furball, because we all know that they're over there, and there he comes. He has been very passive versus Razor, or at least he told me so. So I'm going to expect him to do a few things. I'm going to start off with trying to keep my speed, and then I'm going to be looking what he tries to do. So I just go horizontal, turn into him, don't really need to turn my afterburner off, that's not going to track regardless. So I'm going to keep it on just to get some extra acceleration in. I go up, see what he does, and extend away again, because right now I don't know where the other one is. I saw the dot over there across the map now, so I can start going a little bit more aggressive, turn the afterburner off to conserve a little bit of fuel. I'm going fast enough as it is, and if he tries to dogfight me at all, he will die. Notice he's going straight over me, and I'm just going to pitch up, be very aggressive, and see what he does. He is playing a prop, I think, or at least he thinks he's playing a prop, because he's above me, he has some altitude, and he tries to spiral climb me. If this was a prop, if this was like a 7.0 jet, yeah, you probably would have stalled me out. Unfortunately for you, this thing doesn't really lose speed, and we're at 11.0. Last man of the match, just to finish the game up so you see everything. Kind of a boring fight really, shoot the missile, doesn't track. I'm just gonna try to get rid of some weight. So, and I have 4 and there's only one guy left, so it's not really waste of missiles, because I only need to use the missiles for this one guy. I thought it was going to try to dogfight me, but I'm really not totally sure what you're trying to do. What you could have done is simply fly away from me, because this kind of turn fight is simply not sustainable, and I get very close on your 6 now, shoot a missile, and well, really, once you put yourself in that position, there is not much you're going to be doing, at least not in an F4E. Next game. 7 kills, a few gun kills, very long range missile kills. We're at a little bit at altitude yet again, as I say, we're at about 5 kilometers. This time I have my afterburner on, however, because well, there was some people up here. So I needed to make sure to have some energy, and the moment I see that I'm basically clear, I turn it off for a little bit. And every second or 3 that you conserve is another extra second of afterburner you get late game. So it's always worth it. Turn the afterburner back on because I heard someone. F5E, he's not going to be fast enough to catch me, so I'm just going to be ignoring him and going to this side of the map, because it looks like this side of the map needs a little bit more help. Look up the F5, notice he's going to start turning. He already killed the guy, or the F4 did, so the F5 will probably dodge it even if he's not paying attention to me, and I couldn't really fire it anyway because he's directly on the MiG-23, so the chance that I would have team killed him in that kind of angle I would have understand, but I still don't really understand the one in the previous game. F5 on me, I'm just going to be extending away from the pack, trying to get a 1v1 with this guy. And what I want to do is first force it fast, and then what I want to do is bleed a little bit of speed, make sure that I get a good position, and then I can start using my energy retention. So I actually start cutting my throttle here because I don't want to go over Mach. So when I do that, I will compress a hefty amount. I want to make sure that I kind of turn into the head-on here, dodge his guns. Now he breaks supersonic, so if he tries to commit in the dogfight here, I will start on a 6. Which is exactly what happened, and most F5Es are really eager to dogfight everything they see. So I will gladly take it. I'm directly on a 6 now, and in the long run I will just simply catch it. I'll start out-turning him eventually. If he tries to break off now, I'm directly on a 6 and I can simply missile him. He might flare it, but he will lose a lot of speed doing so, and I will probably catch him if he does. And my energy retention is just very, very good. So even if I started off a little bit slower, if I start on your 6, I will slowly but surely build up an energy advantage, kind of in the same way as the MiG-21 does, or the MiG-21 Biz does. But that thing does a little bit differently. That thing bleed speed, but it also gets it back very quickly. So this thing is a little bit reversed. So instead of bleeding it, you just keep everything that you get. And because of that, I will just slowly and surely gain on this guy. Get another crit on an F5, and that's just how it is with these planes. They're very annoying to kill. But slowly but surely, starting to turn into him. Get another hit. Miss some shots. Miss some more shots. Get another hit and another hit on his wingtip. Finally falls off. He should be going into the ground now. I'm expecting someone to come in from that angle, so I'm going to be turning away from there just to get some speed up and some separation. And there he is, F4E. Coming in fully for me. I have plenty of flares, so I'm just going to flare preemptively. And there it goes. Don't even have to turn my afterburner off. He turns back into my guns. No, I'm not going to hit that. It's a little bit ambitious. Shoot the missile, and if he doesn't flare, then I should be completely fine. It doesn't look like he does have any flares. He's the missile, and he's going to be dead. And you might recognize this situation from somewhere else. And if you don't yet, you will in a second. Here comes the F5E. Need to go head on with him, and I know that there's someone right behind him as well, so I really need to kill one of these guys in the head on. Kill him in the head on. He eats 30 mil in the cockpit. Second one also eats it directly in the cockpit, and that's 2 kills in a very quick succession. Now we have 5 kills, and there's still 2 guys right behind us. So I'm going to be turning around in any second now. And there is still 4 enemies left in the enemy team. 5 enemies left in the enemy team. We're going to be killing 2 of them over here, and then we are unfortunately going to eat a missile right after takeoff, because there's 2 F5s patrolling me. Well, not really patrolling me, they were around this area of the map. I turned around and I got shot 2 AIM-9Js at the same time from different angles at me, and I just didn't manage to dodge them. And it's a very sour feeling, because we could have easily won it if that MiG-21 has just kept alive, but he decided to turn fire the MiG-21, or turn fire the Mirage in his MiG-21 with 2 F5s directly next to him. All he had to do was just keep his speed up, and it would have been a very easy 2v3, but he decided to turn fire the Mirage in the middle of the map, and then he ate, well, the 2 F5s just sitting right above him. Activate an order so I can land in peace, but then the F4E just kind of appears in front of me. He's not really paying attention, he's probably bombing, he's probably stuck. So I'm just going to be turning around, locking him up, we shoot the missile, boop, and we go back to base. Not a lot of fuel, not a lot of ammo, and I don't have any missiles left. And I'm not going to bore you with the end of this game, because, well, I simply took off and I died, and that's all I did. And here we go again, side aspect, medium altitude, afterburner off. Here comes the missile. You're really going to have to flare and dodge it, because these missiles do not care about your feelings. And that's kill number 1. We go into the middle of the map, but there's quite a bit of teammates around, there's quite a bit of everything around actually, it's very early game still. So I'm really just free to pick my targets. And who do I go for? The F4E is going a little bit too steep, the F5 is actually turning around, so I'm going to lock him up. Fire the missile, get load factor, if I shot it a little bit earlier it probably would have hit. But the second I fire the missile, he fires the missile as well, and it throws the missile off, and it doesn't actually curve in enough. And that's a complete waste, but you know, it is what it is. We're starting to turn in here, there's 4 people around. That F4E on the right is very, very low and slow. Probably won't dodge the missile. Lock him up, make sure he doesn't kill the MiG-21. Shoot the missile in between, lead it a little bit. Direct hit. And keep the teammate alive, because I'm going to need him. Missile me, afterburner off, spam the flares. Don't spam them in a one big group, because then you just kind of leave the breadcrumbs back to your engine. So spam them in groups if you can. MiG-21 goes down, dodge the F4E, and now we're back on the F5, and I'm still going 900 after all those turns, keep that in mind. Shoot a few rounds in the head on just to kind of scare him. He does the same to me, we both dodge, and we're out of here. A lot of people alive, I only have 1 missile left, and kind of a tricky situation, so I kind of want to land right now, but at the same time I don't want to go to my airfield. But I want to stay near it, because the second I kill one of these guys and one leaves me alone, I want to be able to land. I'm not going to camp it, I want to stay near it. F4E chasing me down, very slowly catching me. I have the feeling he's not completely spaded, I'm not sure. Could be that he is, but he just has a lot of ordnance on. Not sure, haven't really seen his loadout. Notice that he's not going to break off, so I'm going to turn in front of the runway because I don't want to go over it. Go back up. Dodge the Vulcan, very scary gun. Turn back into him. Just not enough lead. Don't pull in enough. And we go back to this side of the map because I don't want people to come to me. And the further away from their airfield, the bigger the chance that one of the F4Es on their team is out of fuel, has the RTB, because the further away we are, the more time it buys me in the long run to be able to land. I also want this F5 to take back off, but he can't because I'm bringing these guys too close. F4 breaks off. I want to dogfight the F5, so what we are going to do is turn away from the airfield, yes, not towards it, pull in for the head-on, and we are going to start a dogfight. And notice what he does here. I'm going very, very aggressive here. I'm just pulling fully, and he just goes straight. He's maintaining a lot of energy here, and he's doing a very, very gentle turn. So even though normally, on normal circumstances, I will outturn this guy, and I will. I get the first shot here, but it's a very awkward head-on. Not much chance of me hitting that. I get another shot here, because I'm so much slower than him. Miss it again. And now look at the energy that he has. I cannot contest this. If I go up with him, I die. So, what do? We dive back out. Get some speed back up and get some separation, because I can dogfight the F5, but when he opens like that and I open very aggressively, then very big chance that he will just stall me out and I die, and I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to throw my life away. And you call this running, whatever, I call it resetting. Throwing my life away is not something that I'm going to do. And we turn back in. Go about Mach 1, he's probably going about the same speed. Go ahead on again. I'm not sure if he's going to shoot. Depending on his angle here, he's probably not going to try. And I'm expecting him to actually go very aggressive now, because he just did a very gentle turn and he probably expects me to react to that. So this time I'm going to do the same thing actually, in the hope that he knows who I am and then he thinks that I won't do the same thing twice. Just a little bit of reverse psychology. Dodge the shot there, very narrowly only dodge this one. That would have been very bad. That could have ended right there, but now I have him directly where I wanted. He's going to stall in my guns here. He's going to go down here. And he gets missile by a teammate. A little bit unlucky. We land, we take back off, and there comes the F4E from early game. That actually decided to come back. And he's shooting bullpups or something. I'm not really sure what he's shooting at. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do. But he's probably just trying to get rid of the weight. Maybe try to use him to strafe us. I'm not completely sure. Lock the F4E up, shoot a missile from directly below, expecting that missile to definitely hit him. But he flares, and these missiles are pretty susceptible to him. I dropped a good amount of them too, and that missile just instantly goes off, and there it explodes in the background because it didn't actually track. Completely fine. F5 going back up, kind of a bold move here, because there's still two other enemies alive, and I'm not really sure where they are. And when you look at the tickets right there, you can see that there is something going on. There's an F4C going about, and he's just killing every pillbox with his Vulcan. And the Vulcan is very good at ground pounding, don't get me wrong, and he's completely fair for him to do this. And on this map I don't even care that he does, because the ticket bleed isn't automatic. I'm completely sure fine with losing on tickets. But it has to be on a map where he has to actively kill them. If he kills 2 or 3, maybe 4 pillboxes and RTBs, just sits in space or somewhere where I can't find him, and then he wins on tickets, that shit infuriates me. But like this, where he actually has to actively kill all those pillboxes, I don't really mind. That 9J is not in range, so I'm just going to be flying away from it. And there you go, not in range. I need to help out that F5, but I can't because this guy keeps shooting missiles at me from some ridiculous ranges. But the thing is, if I pull into those missiles, it will actually track me. So he did some very big area denial missile there. Made it so that I couldn't really turn around. I don't know where it is right now, and I don't want to slam into it because I've had it before where I turn around, I go directly head on with it, and it will still slam into my plane. The F5E goes down, and now it's 3v1. Luckily one of them is an F4C, it's only an F5C, and it's an F4E that's running bullpups. I'm not exactly sure why still, but you know. to each their own. The F5C isn't as much of a problem to me as an F5E would be, so I'm just gonna be focusing on the F4E now. And yeah, there comes the AIM-9E, not really a dangerous gun, and he's gonna be very, very slow here, because the F5C at low speeds will bleed a lot of energy, and there goes the F4C. As I said, keep looking around like an owl on Adderall, because that F4C would have hosed me down if I saw him about 5 to 10 seconds later. So we dodge his gun pod, very awkward to aim. We go back up and the F5C is still not really in a position to kill me. The problem is that F4E is turning around right now. And if I force this, I'm going to be going full commit head on with him, and then I get the F5C on my 6. Expected that to hit because he's very, very slow, but he flared properly. So I kind of boned myself by turning away before it even hit. Kind of celebrating before it actually worked. And now we have to extend away again. Pre-firing a little bit because I'm going very slow. And I'm not very far away from that 9J, and I really do not want to eat a missile right about now. Now I'm about 1.6 away. I drop the flares, let him fire the missile, because when he does, he's going to be wasting one. Here it comes. Not really worried about this hitting, it's completely out of range. There it comes, wobbling about. He shoots his last missile at me as well, so the F5C is now out of missiles. The F4E shot 3, I think. I knew back then, I don't remember. It's a while ago. Either 2 or 3. But we're just flying away. F4E is still in range. I'm just trying to get these two kind of close together. And then the F4E breaks off. He's probably out of missiles. He's probably low on fuel. I'm not sure. Maybe he took min fuel. Would explain the turn rate earlier on. But now we're 1v1 with an F5C. I'm not very scared of this. Sure, this very shot here is very annoying because he will pull in. He will pull a lot of AOA and he will hose you down with 560 rounds of 20 mils. But after that first turn, he is essentially dead. Even though he started on my 6. And the energy retention on this again is just vastly superior. And what we're gonna do now is a little bit risky, because I have 2 missiles left. And this guy is very slow, and this will definitely hit him if he's just there. But I think what he's trying to do here is map border so that the missile doesn't actually track him. Unfortunately for him, he was just too late and managed to find his plane. Cut out a little bit because I'm just rushing towards the middle, so this F4C stops killing all the pillboxes. He was a big priority in terms of winning the game, but I can't win the game when I'm dead because I'm focusing someone that will win the game. If that makes any sense. So F4C, not the biggest threat in the world, especially when he's alone. And at this point he is essentially dead. I'm just going to be turning after him here. And there's nothing he's going to be doing. Just need to make sure that he dies right here. So I need to land again. There we go. He's on fire. Make sure to hit him a few more times. He's on fire. He's in a very bad situation there. And even if he puts it out, he is probably going to be dead. So I want to be RTB as fast as I can. He's going to crash. He's going to explode. And then this fight. Feel free to skip to the next part of the video. This was more of a hilarious part. He's shooting bullpups at me yet again. I'm not going very fast yet. And I just want to make sure that I dodge the Vulcan. So we do exactly that. I want to turn in here to stay on the 6. I took 20 minutes of fuel by the way this time because it was late game. The tickets are low and I want to get rid of some weight. Shoot missile number 1. He flares it again. The real problem right now are the tickets. And because he's going up, because he's giving me some separation, I'm going to use this opportunity to get some separation as well as some speed. Get away from the airfield because I don't want him to die to AA. As sour as it is to lose, I don't want to lose. Or I don't want to win in a way that's not really fair. He shoots a missile at me. Definitely a sidewinder, but I want you to pay attention. And I found this part pretty funny because the next missile he shoots is a very good missile. Because I'm starting to turn here very shallowly. And he shoots a missile at me, so I think, oh shit, if I turn into that, it's gonna hit me. But then I notice something. And there's like a little orange flare on it. It's a bullpup. The man is shooting bullpups at me from like 4 kilometers away. Actually no chill. That's definitely a sidewinder. So I flare it. Pull back over his gun. Still on the clock. These tickets are going very, very low. And I really need to kill him quickly. And even if I kill him, it's still the question if the tickets don't run out in the time that he dies. So I'm getting a little bit trigger happy. I have the ammo to do so anyway. Turn in. Underlead completely. A little bit unfortunate. and now he starts doing a flat turn, and with some keyboard input this thing will suddenly start pulling quite a little bit. Lead the missile, he eats it, and we actually just win. The tickets went down one more time in the time that theirs went down, and then we had about 80 tickets left by the time we won. Very lucky. Last game, a little bit of filler content, but you know, more footage is never a bad thing, especially when people don't have the plane. Now, a lot of people don't. F4C pitching up for me, not really sure what his idea is here. I know there's a guy in the area, but I know he's behind me, and when I keep turning this way, he shouldn't be getting a lock on me. F4C, only aim 90s, not really worried about that. We dodged the F104, it's an F104J, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was a G or an A. Luckily, this thing doesn't have flares. I have good range on these missiles. We're at medium altitude. And well, yeah, it's an F104, so you're not going to be dodging that. So I shoot it at him, and we go back for the F4C. And if he manages to dodge that, kudos to you. But no. Get back on the F4C. Extremely easy kill, but again, sometimes this gun, sometimes I'm laser accurate, and other times I get this. It's I don't have an excuse for that one. We dive back out because I want to get some speed up. I see that there's an F4E coming in from the middle of the map, and I want to get some speed up before he gets here because, well, not really looking forward to either getting Sparrowed or aim 9J or either Vulcan. Neither of those sound enjoyable, so I'm gonna be helping out this F4F so that he can get his speed up before the F4E comes in. So, trying to make sure that I get there in time. FGR, I think, I'm not sure if he's gonna crash. He is. Flies into the ground. Looks like he didn't need my help at all. Dodged the aim 9J, or at least I think it's a 9J. Depends on what he's running, but I dodged the Sidewinder. We turn back into the F4E. Make sure that we dodge the Vulcan. Pull up over him. We get back on his 6. Simply turning around, not really much to talk about here. He's flaring, he's flaring, making it so that I can't really shoot a missile at him. And again, goes for the teammate. As I said, these missiles are very, very sensitive to any kind of heat source. So if the sun is even remotely in the circle, expect a missile to go for the sun instead. So we pitch back up here. He's going very slow now. A medium distance, 1.5 kilometers is actually optimal for these things. And then at that speed, because he's flaring so much, he's actually just leaving a breadcrumb trail back to his engine, and these missiles will still find your plane. And that's basically all I have for you today. There's 3 more kills at the end of this game. There's 2 Harriers and an FGR. Not the most interesting kills, but having some extra footage is never a bad thing, I think. And it gives me some time to talk about nonsense and not so much about the plane. So I've been very busy for the last 2 weeks, and that should be a little bit alleviated now. I can't promise you that I'll make the same amount of videos that I did a while ago. It's mostly a motivation thing, and I've just, I don't know, I have enough footage. That's not the problem. I don't even need to play the game anymore for another 2 months to make videos. But I just don't have the motivation or the interest anymore to really sit down and make these videos. This one I looked forward to. It was a fun plane. It was a plane I enjoyed. So it wasn't really as much of a problem. I've just been very busy. Now I have some extra time, but I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm burned out, and I've said this before. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't need a break. I don't really know. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. And don't expect me to quit. Don't expect me to just up and leave. At the very least, if I were to leave, I will use all the footage that I have, get all of that out, and then maybe stop playing, but we'll see. I'll probably get back into it very soon here, as I always do. But this is just one of those periods where you will probably not see me in game a lot. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and see you all in a couple of days.